Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Itziar with her movie TLG. Let's take a look at the clip. Welcome back to New Filmmakers. It's so nice to see Itziar. Thank you for being here. Congratulations on your film, and thank you so much for being back with us as well.
Oh, thank you for having me, Danny. It's such a pleasure to see you again and be here sitting with you and chatting about movies and
chatting about movies, chatting about your movie, of all movies. Your film was like 7 minutes, but yes. My goodness me, you just had me captivated in those 7 minutes. Incredible. For those that haven't seen your film, tell us a brief synopsis.
Well, TLG tells the story of Tony and Billy, who meet up for a clandestine, passionate encounter. But when the deed is done and the alcohol has served its purpose, they start to unravel their true purpose, and we discover a much more sinister and dark reality than we ever thought.
Yeah, it was powerful. Powerful performances, powerful story. A lot of situations like this can exist in life, but you had some really effective actors as well.
Yes.
Where did the inspiration come for you in creating the story?
Well, Raul Wilder, the writer, who is also a dear friend and collaborator, came to me because he wanted to tell a story that would explore sexuality and self-acceptance.
Yeah.
And we decided to set it on the 70s because at that time the disco movement opened many doors for the LGBTQ plus community.
It did, yeah.
While at the same time, being homosexual was still persecuted. And, exploring what the story could be, we also found out that money was an important factor in the dynamic, in the toxic dynamic that these two characters had. When we realized that money was an important factor in the toxic dynamic of these two characters, we thought that it was an opportunity to briefly explore the power of money and how that might look like in the future.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think this time period, sexuality in that time period, the dynamics of different people that discovering their identity, relationships, etc., and how different it was in certain situations. It was really great. I love the 70s, like you really pinpointed the looks and the feel, and you really directed so. I mean, it was really very well directed in the sense that you just captured this essence of energy, this conflict, and kind of the high stakes. How did you go about bringing your actors together? Because they were great. I'm
so lucky to be close friends with them. And when Raul came to me with this idea, it kind of like came up naturally. I thought he should be in it because he was in touch with the character that he had written. And Dennis Mencia, who is a brilliant actor, was also a clear choice, and we were so lucky that he loved the story. Yeah. And also Mary, I don't want to spoil the story, but there is a factor in the story that she physically matches to the T, and it just naturally came to happen. And I was very lucky that I didn't have to go through the casting process. Just do something with family is
absolutely.
The best.
And Itziar, how do you work with your actors? It really felt like they gave some great performances. How did you work to kind of, keep these high stakes? What's your process?
I think I'm very lucky that I'm also an actress.
Yes.
And I don't take that for granted. I try to always apply what I know about human exploration when I'm trying to tell a story behind the camera. And I think it gives me the advantage of speaking the same language as the actors that are going to portray these characters. And it also allows me to see behind the process, like when we are in the heat of it, to kind of like pinpoint when they might be stuck and need me to help them out with something that might make the story move forward. Also helps me to step back, when I realize that I am the obstacle that they're having.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes technicalities become a little bit too much on set, you know, maybe more so in indie filmmaking when we have the constrictions of time.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know, to know that back and forth, when to step in, when to step out, I think it's important. I think I owe that to my career as an actress.
Yeah, no, definitely, and it certainly helps as being an actor and directing as well, from knowing both sides of the fence. I thought it was beautiful to see on the big screen. Like, I love the way it was shot. I love the close-ups, but I also love the kind of the colors palette that you used as well. I love how it was shot. It was so beautifully shot, and like the color dynamics that you had, the production design was like so rich. It kind of fell off the screen. Like, how did you go about how you wanted to shoot it as well?
I love using color also as part of storytelling, and knowing that, you know, we were not going to have a production design for this movie. I think it was, for me, very important to have it very clear when it comes to wardrobe and set, that everything was gonna embrace the story that we were gonna tell. So usually I think, like, or at least myself, I chose to be in these golden tones that remind me of the 70s for some reason, you know? Yeah. And also, I think it's very important to, when you have limitations, financial limitations, to play with what you have, you know? We found this amazing location that was gonna help bring the story to life without having a full team. So from there, you know that, okay, this is what I have, so dressing people in green is gonna be ridiculous, you know, and it's gonna show that we don't have a team behind it. So I think those things are important. And also, you know, knowing what your colors mean in a way subconsciously for the audience. Yeah. I think it's something that I really enjoy working with. Yeah. And having that very clear allowed a big contrast with the end of the story. Yes. That could, you know, then you could use something opposite to that and bring some, you know, a plot twist.
No, absolutely. And it's funny because, you know, what you did use, you know, actually gave us an emotional change, and when you did bring us to this next point, but you've got to watch it to find out the twist. Yeah, I think this dynamic as well, I mean, particularly in the 70s, I mean, this was a real existence thing, and in many other communities still kind of exists today. Yes. With the discussion with the writer and with you directing, like, what did you kind of want your audience to sort of take from your film and experience from your film?
That's a great question. I think one of the aspects that I love the most about this short story is to see the struggle of the main character when you realize that he's not what we thought he is, or that he's not where we think he is emotionally. And I think if something impacts you from the movie is his lack of self-acceptance, and maybe if we can take away that we should work on accepting who we are, that would be great. And besides that, for me, it's a statement to tell a story with two men that are struggling to love themselves and each other. Throughout the experience of putting this movie out there, I've discovered that there's so much work to do left. We were, one of our first interviews when the movie came out, we found to be censored. You know, we were invited to be interviewed, but at the same time, we could not tell this was a gay story. And that was very, very infuriating, frustrating, and really motivating to keep, you know, bringing light to what needs to be, you know, in front of the camera. And if somebody feels uncomfortable with this kind of story, then it just makes me want to tell 10 more stories like this until it becomes just as normal as anything else, you know.
Well, without people like yourself, you know, advocating for that, there is no change in any dynamic or community or culture. So I commend you for just being that filmmaker that you are, because we need you in this industry to make the shifts that you're doing. And so, but we love all kinds of stories at NewFilmmakers. Yes. So, you know, that's the one thing that I'm happy to have you as part of our family. What is coming next? Where are we going? Where are you taking us next?
Oh my God, that's a difficult question to answer because my mind is like in so many places already. I just finished directing a new short film. It's a psychological thriller that I'm very, very proud of. I think it's probably the biggest thing I've done so far. Most ambitious, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been developing a bilingual TV show for the past 3 years. And it's, little by little seeing. I don't want to say the light yet because it's not there yet, but it was selected as a series in development in the Sitges International Film Festival, which is,
huge,
the biggest in the genre movement, so to speak. So that was, a little push to think or to feel that this story has a place. Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that it's bilingual and it has, Hispanic and Latino characters under a new light.
Yeah.
Dark fantasy,
yeah.
It's something that I'm passionate about, but we don't get to see that much in Spanish.
No, we don't.
Yeah. So, that's something that I'm fighting for, while at the same time working on the post-production of this upcoming short film.
Amazing.
So, that's what we have.
I love that you keep bringing films to us, and I'm really looking forward to the next world that you create. But just want to say, a big thank you for bringing, TLG to us. It was an important film, and you really did a fantastic job. So thank you very, very, very much.
Thank you, Danny.
But also just be your advocate as you are as a filmmaker, and things that you stand for is everything we need in filmmakers today and beyond. And I just want to finalize for people that are also trying to articulate their stories or make things that they're really passionate about, that mean a lot to them. Mm-hmm. What advice do you kind of have for filmmakers out there? Or what do you go by as like in your creativity to move things across the line?
First of all, don't get in your own way. I think imposter syndrome is real for artists. And then, one thing that I've learned with TLG is that making stories, when you make a story to serve the story, instead of thinking of how that might be perceived, allows you to actually make the best that it can be in your hands.
Yeah.
When you want to tackle stories that might encounter resistance, it's important to focus on your desire. And embrace the fact that if you have the desire, it's because that idea wants to exist. And do not worry about how people are going to perceive it, if they are going to support it or not. That will be another stage of your process. But when you are creating, create. For you, for the story, and for the characters that would tell you what they need and what they are here to tell. So that's what I try to practice.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much. That's really, really fantastic advice. Thank you for bringing your film to us, and we're so lucky to have you as part of our New Filmmakers LA family, and best successes for the next ventures, okay?
Thank you so much, Danny. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.